Hello, hello. Amber Stewart here of Keller Williams Premier in Katy and Houston areas, and Keller Williams Advantage in Tulsa, Oklahoma areas. I wanted to get on here today and talk to you a little bit about earnest money and option monies. So the earnest money and option monies that I'm going to be talking about today is strictly for Texas. If you have questions about any of those things for Oklahoma, please don't hesitate to reach out. I can get you that information. So I wanted to show you a little bit about, this is our standard 1-to-4 contract. And when a buyer fills it out, they have to fill out how much they want to select for earnest money and how much they want to select for option money. Usually in a market that's not so crazy and hot as the one is that we are in Houston right now, the earnest money is usually 1% of the sales price. So if you have a home that you are purchasing for $350,000, in a normal market we would do about $3,500. Now that $3,500, once you pay it, there is an option for it to be refundable. You can get that money back during the option period. If you find another house that you just like better, you can get it back. If you find the inspection reports that you paid for to be unfavorable, if you feel like there's too many things wrong with the house and you don't want to purchase it any longer, you can get that back during the option period. You can get earnest money back if you terminate a contract during option period. And even after option period, you can sometimes receive that earnest money back. The way that would happen would normally be because of the third-party financing addendum. I also have that form right here. This is our TREC promulgated third-party financing addendum. And on here, it has a section for approval of financing. There's a period in here where we put a number of days. And if you are within this number of days to get approval of financing and you terminate due to financing, you can also get your earnest money back. It is not going to be a struggle or anything like that if you lose your job, if you buy a car and you can no longer afford your home, things like that, where the lender decides we can no longer pay for financing, then you can get your earnest money back under most circumstances if it has to do with financing. Now, if you are over this number of days, usually I put 21 to 27 depending on my client. If you are over this number of days and you have an issue, it's going to be a little bit more of an issue for a buyer's agent to get earnest money back for their client if you are out of option period and you are out of the third-party financing addendum allotted time period for approval of financing. Now, the earnest money is a lot of buyers are putting way more than 1% right now because they're trying to show how serious they are about buying homes. In multiple offer situations, we want to make our offers look as beautiful as possible and as tantalizing as possible to the sellers. So because there's a risk of losing that earnest money, some people are putting close to 2% for their earnest money, or they're putting 1.5% for their earnest money. It's just something that buyers are considering as a way to show that they are very serious about purchasing the property, and sellers will see that and think, okay, so they have more funds. There's less likelihood that they could bust out. There's some options that a seller could think about if they see a higher earnest money coming their way in a multiple offer situation. It really might help in getting the buyers won in a multiple offer situation. Now, option period is a little bit different. Option period is basically the buyer paying for a period of time where they are going to be doing inspections. You can do an inspection. You can, you pay for a general inspection, and then if the inspector says, get the electrical checked out, get the roof checked out by a roofer, a licensed electrician, or if you get the plumbing checked out by a licensed plumber. Some of those estimates do cost additional money. However, a lot of times it is worth it to go ahead and get those things checked out if the inspector recommends it. So during that option period that you pay for, you can get all of those things checked out. Now, while you are in the option period that you paid for, you can back out and get your earnest money back. However, you cannot get your option money back. So usually option money is a minimal amount. In a market before this crazy hot market that we're having now, Usually it's 10% of 1% of the sales price. So if you have a house that you're buying for $350,000, usually it would be 10 days option period for $350. But we're seeing the option periods get less and less and less. So inspectors are almost on call at all times trying to get inspections done super quickly, because a lot of people are having a really short option period, because there's less likelihood that for the sellers that they're going to have to give that money back after the option period. So the only other reason that they would really give that money back is if there's an issue with financing. There are some other issues that might arise, but usually those are the only two reasons why we would give we would give earnest money back, is during option period or during the financing period that I talked about on the third-party financing addendum. Option period is not refundable though. If you decide to back out, then you've given that $350 to the sellers. The sellers will keep that. Now, in our contracts that they were recently changed November of 2020, both the option money and the earnest money is given to title. It used to be that the option money was given straight to the sellers in a check or sometimes electronically, but now both are given to the title company, and that can be given in a check or electronically depending on what the title company what they accept. So if they accept electronic payment, then you can just pay the option money and the earnest money if you're a buyer straight to title, or you can write one check for both and it's saved there. If the contract were to bust out for some reason, then the seller will keep that option money, but the title company will give back that earnest money to the buyer if it applies. If you go to closing and the contract closes and funds, as we all hope that it does, then the earnest money is applied to the buyer's closing costs. So I hope that's helpful. If you have any additional questions about this or anything that I need to explain in further detail, please don't hesitate to reach out. And as always, in our very hot market, if you have a house that you'd like to buy or sell, please contact me. I have lenders with great rates, and I also can sell your home quickly. My phone number is 832-713-6284, and me or somebody on my team would be just so pleased to help. Thanks so much and have a blessed day.